The following is a case study in intelligent automation using RPA. Background. Our client is currently standardizing its product lifecycle management process with a commercial off-the-shelf solution. However, the edges of the process remain a challenge. The inability of resolving the edges results in operational inefficiencies, manual workaround, cost and time to maintain existing systems, and finally, lower ROI of the actual process standardization efforts. The legacy systems involved in the process create integration or interface challenges. Our solution is to integrate and interface with legacy systems using robotic process automation or RPA. We will do this by implementing a combination of attended and unattended bots. This will allow us to encapsulate the knowledge of the human workforce into these bots. We will therefore automate the edges of the product lifecycle management process to manage multiple use cases, allowing clients to go live and transition as per their schedule and timeline. Scenario 1, Formula Move. In this scenario, formula is a core component of production. It needs to be moved from the legacy system to the new product lifecycle management system. Currently, there are several manual steps. Let's take a look at these manual steps. Here is a flow of all the manual steps in the Formula Move process. First, a user would manually need to log into a terminal legacy system. Once logged in, he would need to navigate to the Formula Move section. Once in that section, he would be allowed to move formulas. Lastly, he would need to make a record of the moved formula. This process would need to be iterated over several times depending on how many formulas needed to be moved. Now let's take a look at our robot to see how it implements this design. Here is our robot. The activities of our robot are based upon a workflow. This makes it very easy to build the workflow based upon the previous process that we viewed. Let's look at the workflow in more detail. Here's our workflow. We can see the first part of our workflow is first to get some prerequisite activities done. This would include creating the log file, reading the configuration file, and then creating or reading the current log execution file. This is the file that will list all the previous formulas that were moved. Once those prerequisite activities are completed, we can then jump into our main process. This would start by opening the application and logging in. The next step of our process would be to navigate to where the formulas are. This would include going through the main menu and a couple of other menus. Once we get to the area where the frozen records or frozen formulas are, we would then be able to move the frozen formulas. After we do that, we can see that we also do a confirmation of the move. We would then move to our last part of the process, which would be to update the log file. This log file would list out every formula that was moved. We could use this file later to do some reporting and analytics. To complete the demo, we will trigger our bot to test it. However, in a production environment, this bot would be triggered using a batch file. Let us manually trigger it to test it here. After all the prerequisite activities are finished, we will be able to see that the application will open and we will be logged into the system. Now that the login process has been executed, the robot will continue to move on. The bot will continue to execute until all formulas are moved. If all the formulas are moved, the bot will enter into a waiting state. It continues to be in this waiting state until there are more formulas to move, or the bot is terminated, either manually or via the batch script. Here you can see the output after the formula bot has been terminated. The output file displays all formulas and their status. Here we can see the status is moved. If there was an error moving one of the formulas, the status column would read error. Also included is the date of the move. If this bot is executed through multiple days, you can easily track which day what formula was moved on. Now that we have completed the demonstration, let's look at some of the benefits of using RPA. First, we'll look at the implementation side. Because RPA was used, implementation time was greatly reduced. RPA also allowed for us to easily interface with existing systems. In our case study, this was the terminal. And because RPA is based upon a workflow, this allows for an easy knowledge transfer. Next, we'll look at how this increased our efficiency. Because a robot is used and not a human, this robot can work on a 24/7 basis if needed. Also, the error rate is greatly reduced when using a robot. And because there are very little or no manual steps, there are no manual bottlenecks. On the reporting side, we saw in our case study how several different log files were output from the robot. These log files can be used later for compliance or analytics.